This episode was recorded February 8th, 2021.
All right, welcome everybody to the comic panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Shawenta.
And unfortunately, our fourth co-host, Jake, is not able to join us right now, but he may join us later in the program. Today we're going to be talking about Ultimate Fantastic Four, written by Mark Millar and Brian Michael Bendis, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think art is not also done by Mark Millar. He's not necessarily like a comics artist, right? It's
I'm pretty sure not. No.
Yeah. I don't know who's doing art on this actually. So Bendis, Miller, Kubert. That's it. It's Andy.
Wait, Kubert?
Kubert, yeah.
Isn't that a Kubert?
What?
Isn't that
it's
an artist art?
No, it's Kubert. Kubert. Right?
Yeah. Okay. That just reminded me of like an artist.
Yes.
Kubert.
That is what I'm trying to say. He is an artist.
No, like painting kind of an artist.
Oh, okay.
Or
Gotcha.
is it a sculptor?
I don't know.
Remember.
I have no idea. Also, I'm sorry. I said Andy on accident, but it's Adam Kubert.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the Adam part.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, this is for people that aren't aware, Ultimate Fantastic Four is part of the Ultimate universe of stories that Marvel Comics put out in the early 2000s, and basically it was kind of like a redo of a lot of their most popular characters to kind of modernize their universe.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, like 4 weeks ago actually, we read Ultimate Spider-Man, which takes place in the same universe and has the same setup.
Yep. So yeah, this was a book that I wanted to read for quite some time. I was like, gotta find the right.
You've been a fan of like Ultimate Spider-Man for a while, so I'm surprised that this is your first time reading this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I understand though, because like getting into Fantastic Four is probably like one of the hardest Marvel properties to get into, especially like currently, just because like I've read some Fantastic Four and like 99% of the time throughout the team's entire history, Reed Richards is just unlikable. Just very, very unlikable. And
insufferable.
Yeah. Yeah, insufferable is a good word. Yeah. I've heard that Jonathan Hickman writes him okay, and even then he's not necessarily great. It's just like...
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that's not the writer's fault, I would assume. It's the...
Whose fault is it?
I assume like it's just the character. Okay, so how I interpreted what you're saying is that like Reed Richards is written as a terrible person.
Right, yeah. I mean, essentially.
So when they go to write the story, they go, now remember, make him insufferable and annoying to listen to.
Yeah, and potentially misogynistic, because that's baked into him in the original.
Gotcha. I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically like most of Marvel's male characters that were created in the 60s and even 50s, but eventually, that was just common at the time, but it got better.
No,
just another personality trait.
Yeah. But in this one, I was kind of surprised that Reed Richards wasn't totally unlikable. It was a little bit like feeding into it almost felt a little bit like Spider-Man, and there was like feeding into the like young nerd like power fantasy a little too much. It's like, oh yes, he's smart and he gets to go to the smart school where his parents actually get paid for him to go to the smart school, and the girl, she likes him automatically. It's like, and then he gets superpowers because of the thing that he does. But it was an accident still. But
yeah.
It was a little bit like, I don't know. It just felt a little too. Everything is too easy for Reed Richards.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I feel like that's a whole thing in like media. It's just like the nerds are the quote unquote sexy. Like, I feel that was. I mean, what is the Big Bang Theory if not that?
Well, I mean, that's supposed to be like an ironic.
So the Big Bang Theory proved to you that nerds are sexy, are you saying?
No, not proved to me.
I see. Talon is noticing a media trend of like the basically in that ironic, because it is supposed to be ironic. Basically, the whole thing is that like, you know, at least to pop culture, nerds are not sexy. They are not desirable. But then, you know, in an effort to flip the script, if you will, to defy expectations, which is often, you know, just what's the word? Like not flash words. They're like, you know, basically just phrases that get used for the sake of being used because they're
like
popular.
Cliches.
Kind of, but basically, yeah.
Gotcha.
Defying expectations without any real goal, and so I think that is kind of common where it's like you might have like, oh yeah, the beautiful, or I should say, like, you know, media's standard of what a beautiful girl is, you know.
No, we can just say it beautiful.
Well, no, I think it's important to make the distinction just because it's like, you know, there is definitely like a difference between like what media portrays and what's in reality. But, you know, basically like the leading actress, you could say too, like, we'll get with the nerd just because, like, you know, it's not what you would expect. But I don't think that that's even a commonality. I think that the reverse is still more common. It's just that people might.
She doesn't get with him?
Yeah, or you know, I mean, if your lead character is a nerd, then it's more likely that the lead actress will get with the lead actor because that's how you know love stories work. But
you go.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think that overall though it should still be earned, and I don't feel like Sue and Reed's relationship is earned is the problem. Even if it's a trend.
I think that it's different than the trend with Sue and Reed, because Sue is smart. Like, she is there because she is a smart person.
Sure.
So it's like...
When did they show that? When did they show that? That's my main problem with a lot of her whole thing is she just smiles at him, and then like when they kiss during the experiment, I'm like, stop that.
No, that wasn't good.
This is not.
That was not. Even I thought that was cheesy.
This is dumb. I don't know. Her constant staring at him, I was just like,
Gotcha.
So hate this. I didn't like her, I think. I mean, constantly being exposed to her midriff. But, and just the whole mole man thing. We can get into this later. I did want to say, in response to, like, Cody's thing, I think it's the whole trope of, like, nerds getting their revenge kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Not.
I mean, it's probably the whole thing of, like, showing nerds are a certain way, they're outcasts and whatever. And then the need to make them the main characters. So obviously you have to have them triumph. I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like it was in one way in the past, and because that was so stereotypical, they, of course, people wanted to break the mold, so they made, you know, this new kind of story. Not necessarily new, but they were going opposite of how it previously was done, but that became so normal that is the new just cliche now.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's a good summation. Yeah, and also, as far as like the way that, or actually no, I'll respond first to like, you know, not to invoke the movie of the same name, but the Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah, I think that like that trope of like, you know, basically like all like, you know, it's a mixture of like, you know, the old quote. I can't credit it right now because I can't remember, but maybe it might be the Bible actually. But the meek will inherit the earth. Which one is that one? Bible. Okay. Yeah, you know, that's like, you know, often associated with that trope, I feel like, and then also the just like, you know, the idea that like if you like suffer a little bit through life, i.e. in this story, like getting bullied in school and stuff, then it will lead to, you know, your salvation in some way. You just have to like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, as the old capitalist talking points.
All you have to be is incredibly smart, and someday people will not be able to reach you.
Yeah.
Not that anybody will help you that much before.
Not be able to reach you? What do you mean?
Well, like, it's not like they suddenly got talked to, the bullies. Like, you know, they just got pushed around, but they obviously continued to, like, bother him, I think. Because But then, of course, he gets out of their reach physically by going to the new school.
See what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't think the, like, source of the problem was ever, like, addressed, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do want to... I guess I didn't have too much of a problem with the whole, like, oh, all you have to do to solve your problems is be incredibly smart and go to a new school. And, like, everything will be fine. But, I do like the fact that they show, like, his interactions with his parents are not magically solved by that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, him sending the motorcycle to his father, and his father still isn't grateful at all. Has no, like, understanding of why he's receiving this, because his son is gifted and cares about him.
Yeah.
Bro, this dude was like, yeah, we'll pay you. And he was like, oh, how much? I was like, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
You know, that was actually like, so the opening scene is Reed Richards being born, or not being born, but, you know, like, you know, right after he is born, you know, as a baby in the hospital room and all that stuff. And then, like, you know, his parents seem like so caring and stuff. And I'm like, okay, good family. And then, like, basically the book is all like, just kidding. Like, his dad's a piece of trash.
Yeah, he wanted a jock.
I guess, yeah. I was just like...
I mean, he latched onto Ben Grimm pretty quick.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, that's another thing that it's all like, I mean, I can't imagine, like, even if, like, say that Reed was, like, you know, athletic and not necessarily, like, or even just, like, normal intelligence level, you know, like, I just have a trouble believing that, like, his father would still be kind to him.
I think it would be more like he would be pressuring him to continue to be the sport. Like, basically, he would cheer him on, like, in his pursuit of whatever sport he decided to play, but it would be more like, all right, look, you gotta keep working on this. Like, no rest for you kind of thing.
Yeah, that could be, but I feel like it has to go worse. Like, you know, we don't really get to see, like, because obviously, like, Reed's father is not the main character of this book, but we don't get to see any, like, deeper psychology from him. But, like, it just feels to me like there's something deeper that's going on in his life that is, like, making him, like, so agitated at his son. Like, you know, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, yes, like, I think any parent would be really mad if there was, like, a big explosion that, like, woke up the whole neighborhood. But, like, the little things, you know?
That was going on even before that, you know?
Yeah. It's just, like, I don't know why Reed's father in this book gets so mad at him, you know? And we never see him get super mad at, like, you know, his other siblings, which that was a surprise too. I was like, whoa, you have a lot of siblings. Like,
I was like, okay, they're gonna get brought up in this issue and then never brought up again. I am so far correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he could have not had siblings.
Yeah.
It was just, like, so far space filler. Like,
They even had his little sister be like, you're going, like, you're taking me with you. Like,
oh, yeah,
you're going.
okay, that's actually a good point. That's a good point. I forgot about that part. So that does say that his father is mean to everybody, not just him.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because that's why she wants to go.
I don't think that says that.
You don't think so?
I don't think
she's a kid. She just wants to go somewhere. She's like, you're going somewhere. Well, you have to take me.
Yeah.
You're going to the park. Well, I have to go too.
Yeah,
I see.
I didn't imagine anything.
Okay.
And she obviously, but she obviously is aware of how he's being treated because she's like, oh, I'll tell on you otherwise or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think that, because, like, that sounds like just a normal little kid thing, regardless of whether or not the parent treats one of them badly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I put too much weight on that statement. She's not like being mean.
Yeah.
She's just being a little kid.
Yeah, I guess, okay, that's true, yeah. Okay, maybe that doesn't say that. I was definitely, when I read it, that's definitely how I interpreted it, though. I was all like, she wants to leave that house, you know, not like, I just want to go with my brother to wherever you're going. Because, like, that, I mean, that...
She didn't, like, beg him while she was crying.
Yeah,
so,
I guess so. I just, yeah. Okay.
I was like, so I was immediately caught off guard. So it's like 21 years ago is when he was born. So, you know, theoretically he's 21 in the story. And then they cut to him, you know, 11 years ago, which makes him 10. Yeah. And I was like, he does not look 10 to me. Like, none of these people look their age.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that he might be in high school. I think that he already, like, skipped grades, maybe. But,
well, that could be true, yeah.
But, I mean, they don't say that, so also, like, I guess it's their job to say so.
Yeah. But
otherwise...
Yeah, that actually would help, I think, as far as, like, the bullying and whatever that he was going through. Because, like, I don't know, I always see, like, these intense cases of bullying that's, like, so movie style, you know, as compared to what, like, actual bullying probably is like.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, yeah, like, I don't even... Kids, like, giving another kid a swirly, like, for real? Like, I've never heard of that.
That was, like, the most animated scene. Yeah. Like, that panel was, like, so much going on. But yeah, if he had, like, skipped a grade or whatever, I think that would kind of explain the bullying a little bit better as far as why he's being targeted for being smart.
Wait, you've never heard of someone being gotten a swirly?
In real life, yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe in real life. I don't know. I hear that on TV all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, is it's so TV, movie, you know, media, whatever.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, no, the bullies aren't going to be like, oh, we heard you know quantum physics, nerd. Like, they just know that he's smart.
Yeah, it would be a...
So, like...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to reiterate that, like, because he's so young, then, like, that he's a much easier target then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, basically, like, if it was more akin to real, like, you know, I feel like... We read Ultimate Spider-Man, like I said, like 4 weeks ago, and I feel like that bullying was still a little overdramatic, but it was more realistic than this, where like they were throwing some food at him, you know, and just generally you can see that he's sitting alone, nobody wants to talk to him.
Gotcha.
You know, this is like active like abuse.
Gotcha. And I said I interpret it as more like, I think he's more worthy of the label loner. Like, because that was something, if I remember correctly, Jake said with, like, you know, this is my problem with Peter Parker. Like, he's always portrayed as, like, the meek one, or, like, doesn't get the girl kind of thing. But, like, he had a girl's interest even before he was Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, to me, I think for him, for Reed Richards, it's more appropriate to label him that way. Even though Sue still did like him.
Yeah, but I mean, what about Ben Grimm has an immediate attachment to him?
Is that really what it's applied to?
Well, I mean, not in a romantic attachment.
Well, I mean, yes. I just meant that I thought that criticism of Peter Parker was specifically about his love interest. No.
Well, I mean, I think that is true in a sense that that's what Jake meant, maybe. But I think that taking it to the broader, like, loner term, like what loner means, it's not having a romantic partner. You know, it's just not having friends or any support system at all. You know.
I would still say that that's probably Reed Richards, even though Ben Grimm did help him out. I would still apply that to him.
I'm not sure if I agree, but I'm not sure that I have, like, you know, enough to, like, really change your mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they try to show that Ben is there just to get help with Trig, but also I feel like it's really kind of touching how he's tries to engage with what, you know, the current project that Reed is working on at the moment.
Yeah.
Even if it's out of politeness, but he's sitting there and he's like, well, try to actually explain it to me so I can understand.
Yeah. You know what? He's actually...
Instead of just letting him go off on a tangent.
You know, he's actually a really good, like, foil, or just comparison in general, not necessarily a foil, is Harry Osborn. You know?
And Ben Grimm?
And Ben Grimm, yeah.
Gotcha.
Harry Osborn, terrible friend, really just using Peter for the homework help. Ben Grimm actually wants, you know, has, like, some connection to Reed and is interested in his work.
True, yeah. I would even say that was in the dynamic between him and Reed in the movies as well. Yeah. I'd say that might be the best thing that they got down.
Yeah. But yeah.
So yeah. I couldn't tell any themes in this book.
Themes? Yeah, it was a lot of exposition work, honestly. Like, get to know the character, but I mean, honestly, just for Reed a lot.
Yeah. Not
even for the rest of the four. Yeah, like, I think, you know, Shawenta kind of put it best, where it's all like, just maybe you'll excuse the wordplay, stretch away from your problems.
I will not excuse that. Yeah.
God, there was definitely pages where, like, I was like, what is it, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 panels. And it's just text, like talking heads, and there's text bubble. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I feel like you can very much blame that on Brian Michael Bendis. I feel like that is a common criticism that he gets, is just, like, so many text bubbles and, like, you know, his way of writing dialogue. But I don't know that for sure because it was co-written. But yeah, definitely agree about that. I honestly, like, I feel like the last couple of books that we've read, I've talked about, like, panel layout, and I haven't been meaning to. It's not, like, a super big, like, important thing for me when I read a book, but I feel like a lot of things we've been reading have had, like, weird panel layout to me, and this book included, where I'm like, you know, and the experience is especially weird, I'll say, reading on a phone. You know, it's like, I can't control exactly, like, you know, maybe if I turned on 2-page always, you know, but then I have to zoom in and stuff. But like, just like, you know, they try to do some creative things sometimes with, like, Johnny Storm, like, flying around, and, like, so that, like, kind of creates the panels a little bit. Like, towards the end, the big climactic battle, and then but, like, other times, like, basically there's, like, a big picture, like, it's almost a splash page, except for it's not a big action scene. They just want to make it big for some reason, and then they shove, like, a bunch of little panels, like, to the edge of the page, and I'm like, why did you do that? Why? So yeah, that was one of my big problems with the panel layout. Basically, was just, like, unorganized. It just felt unorganized sometimes.
Gotcha.
Kind of going back to the theme thing, like we were saying about just escape your problems, just leave them behind physically.
Yeah.
And like the fact that Reed, I don't know how much he earns certain things, and also how it feels like sometimes he's just given things on a platter. Like the whole experiment going wrong that causes them to get their powers, and how it's like, oh, it's not his fault. He's so smart. It's Victor's fault or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically, I think, a good. Sorry, I just think that, like, basically, sorry, I lost it, but yeah, no.
Who even is Victor?
Yes.
Like, is he a character in the
yeah.
Fantastic Four universe?
He's supposed to be Doctor Doom.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, as far as Doctor Doom, I'm trying to remember what his original origin is, because it gets changed like a little bit, like just tweaked. But I think basically he's working on like a suit of armor, and then he's like too fast basically, and he puts the metal mask on and it scars his face or something.
Like he puts it on too fast?
Yeah, or no, sorry. It's like hot. He like just made
gotcha.
it. And he like
I gotta put it on. Like, oh my god, I just opened my present. Oh no!
Can't even touch it.
Forgot that it was hot.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, because like, so one part of it is like, so he's supposed to be like a magic / technology user. Like that's supposed to be his like big claim to fame, is he's a sorcerer.
Gotcha.
And he's really good at technology.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and part of the reason that he learned all that stuff is because his mother is trapped in hell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's his like, that's also his redeeming character quality too, is that he's like every year, he gets one chance per year, and every year he tries to save his mother from hell. Never has gotten there.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say we get a lot more backstory into Victor on Volume 2. So.
Yeah, that's off of the show. You said that you like it was a big cliffhanger, and I feel like I very much disagree.
No, I didn't say cliffhanger. I said I was very dissatisfied with the ending of Volume 1.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I thought that you were saying that there was a cliffhanger, and then when I ended, I was like, that wasn't a cliffhanger. It was just a very normal ending.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No, it was because to me, I was like, okay, now let's find Victor, and they didn't look for Victor at all. I'm like, no, I can't deal with that. No.
Yeah. Also, going back, so I I asked you to excuse that wordplay, and the only reason I'm bringing it back up was because, like, I actually do think that, like, there is an opportunity to use the characters' powers as metaphors. And, like, because that was one thing that, like, I can't even remember who did it, but I think I was watching an interview or something, but I really liked, like somebody explained the Fantastic Four's powers as metaphors, like the original comic. So it was like basically, giving them the powers that are opposite to their like strongest negative personality traits. So basically, Reed is a stick in the mud.
Rigid.
So
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's rigid. So then he loosens up with his powers, and then Sue is like, a society girl in the original, because, that was a thing. So she was like, very much concerned with like how she looked and stuff like that. And so it's like invisibility. And then Ben, I'm trying to remember what his thing was, but yeah.
He was too soft.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Boy?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I think he was. He was like, he looked big and tough already, but he was really just like a gentle giant kind of person.
Gotcha.
But now which isn't really a negative, but like basically, yeah, everything was like kind of opposite.
And I'm assuming that Johnny was a hothead?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. You just reminded me of what they were going with in this story with their powers. It's the stupidest thing ever. So they explain in this story that, oh, so Reed, you like move like water.
Oh yeah. I forgot about
yes, the elements. It's like, no.
That's so bad. And the thing is like earth, right?
Yeah, I mean it's gotta be.
And then fire, Johnny Storm, and then Susan Air.
Because she's invisible and so is the air.
Oh god, that was so bad.
It's gotta be it.
I also love how, like, I think Dr. Storm, is that what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
The father of them, just, like, touched, like, the stretchy arm of Reed. It was like, water. And I was like, no. So weird.
Yeah, you mean rubber flesh?
Yes.
See, I really feel like if they had leaned into, like, any sort of characterization like that with the characters, like you were saying, Cody, the whole, like, oh, maybe she thinks about her appearance too much. Like, any sort of, like, showing that through, like, even a scene, and then having her have to deal with, oh, I can be invisible now, is, like, that would have actually been interesting. And it would have added characterization to her other than, like, girl.
Yeah.
I
Girl, maybe she's smart.
I will say that she's like, you get to see more of her being smart in Volume 2.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Should have focused on all of them a little bit more. I feel like yeah, if you're gonna call your book Fantastic Four, you know, it's like, don't just focus on Reed and then, like, you know, focus on the other characters later. It's like you can build that story little by little, you know.
Yeah, I think it was weird because I just don't know why they were all there. Like, I guess maybe I forgot it, but why did Reed feel the need to invite Ben?
Yeah, I guess it's because, like, you know, basically he supported him before he went to the school, and you know, it's
and why was Johnny there?
Well, he's also smart in this universe.
I mean, not as smart as Reed, because Reed called him dumb.
I guess, yeah.
He's still at the smart kid school, but also the fact that, like, they're at the scene of the experiment. That's why they get pulled in or whatever. But what about, like, the other people? Because they were clearly, it wasn't just 4 people at the scene, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Now, see, they were just, like, in the epicenter of it. That's why.
Why? Why would you put your most brilliant scientists? Now make sure they get the closest.
Well, to be fair, he did invent it. So.
Yeah, it does seem.
Everybody stand back. This is my
Witness glory.
experiment.
Oh wait, that's actually just like Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2. That just made me think of that.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, I agree that, like, if it was a little more realistic, it would be like, put this inside, like, a wall, you know, just like I mean, yeah, I think that's how they did, like, the first atomic bomb testing, you know, it was watch it from a very, very, very far distance. Granted, they knew that was going to be a bomb, you know, it was, like, pretty obvious, but it's, like, still, just, like, I think when you're inventing something like this, you should also, like, think, okay, what are all of the possibilities if it goes wrong? But no, we have people who are all like, I never make mistakes. It's like...
Yeah. You'd think Reed would be smart enough.
Did they do it at smaller scale first?
Well, you know, I mean, he invented it in his garage.
But he didn't get it to the same level. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very much makes me think of, like, you're about to set off a rocket ship to, like, go to the moon or something. And the head scientist is like, you know, nobody else is allowed to stand near my big cool rocket when it goes off. And just, like, getting as close as possible to the thrusters.
Also, I'm not sure if I'm completely convinced with your, like, you know, they were just the closest to. I'm like, yeah, I feel like other people would either just, like, plain be dead or affected by the powers or whatever.
True. Oh, no. Okay. No, this is why they were affected. I'm being serious. They were probably, like, closest to it, and were the only ones that went through the end zone.
Right, yeah, I guess why didn't other people go through the end zone, though?
Yeah, that's our whole point, is like, there's other people present, why did these 4 special chosen snowflakes get to go through it?
Yeah, so the end zone is a thing in this comic, which I'm gonna assume is what was the negative zone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I forgot about that's what they called it, because I think I've heard it called the end zone in another comic, maybe, but yeah, that is funny that, like, Dr. Storm was like, that's just what we call it. I'm like, but why? Why? Like, why do you even have that in there at all?
It's like the no man's land. No man goes in there.
I guess, like, yeah. Also, I just have to say, too, that I, for a long time, really thought that that's what the end zone was called in like football. That was the end zone. I was like, I don't know why it's called end zone, but that's just what they call it in that game, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I do think, though, that like there's potential for the characters to like their powers to be more meaningful, but this book did not set it up.
Yeah.
Is kind of where I was going way back when I mentioned that, and I do hate the elemental thing. It's all like it was right there in front of you, and you decide, nope, we're just gonna do the 4 elements.
Yeah, and then the Mole Man. When he went on his tirade about what the Yaga Sattva or something, like, what was it?
Oh, I guess I didn't really like pick up on that very much.
Which tirade?
Yeah.
The one to
which
sue?
one? The Shatadfa, something like that. I have it written down.
So
somewhere.
it's the ancient culture or something, right? That's what you mean.
Okay. Yeah, the Upanishad, something like that.
Okay.
The Yoga-tattva. Yoga-tattva. There we go.
Okay.
And all that, like, oh yeah. So basically, what he was saying is that yes, there is a sect of religion that talks about people reaching enlightenment and getting powers. One of those powers being invisibility. And I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
Is this even true? Like, I don't.
Yeah, I didn't research any of it like beforehand, but like yeah, it was just kind of silly. Like, I mean, yeah, he's definitely. I think that they were like, yeah, in every way conceivable, the Mole Man has, gone off the deep end, and
yeah.
See, I didn't read any of that. I didn't read. I guess I didn't read his tirade, but I still got that impression. I just got to the part where he was like, "And I love you, Sue," and I was like, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, so like when I read that, I was like, I really hope you mean like as a father or something.
Oh,
like, I hope that's what you mean.
You had to have known that that's not what he meant.
I really, really don't want to believe that that's what he meant.
No.
And then he suggested they make new creatures together.
Yeah.
Okay, like out of clay or whatever he did.
They're plants. They're plant people.
Oh, gotcha.
But
actually, that hasn't. I don't know if that was even solidified.
It wasn't.
You just have to guess.
Yeah.
And then the moles were weird to Sue, and I was like, oh, what is going on?
Yeah.
What am I being subjected to reading?
Yeah, it was pretty creepy how he was.
If I was a mole made by a mole man and I saw Sue, I'd go, what's that weird looking thing?
Right.
I wouldn't be like unable to control myself, as the mole man says.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he said like, oh, I'm sorry, they're having a hard time controlling themselves around you.
Yeah, it's like they're just excited, like they're a dog, like they have new company. But it's like, yeah, that thing was definitely being more than friendly.
Yeah.
Why was it written that way?
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, I don't know, like, why they felt to go that hard on the Mole Man, too. Like, you know...
Well, wasn't he the first villain?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was. He was in Fantastic Four #1 or whatever. But I just don't, like, know, like... I just feel like, you know, Mole Man is not that bad of a villain, I guess, you know? He's not, like, supremely evil, necessarily.
Gotcha.
He's just, like... I mean, he is in this, probably. Like, I mean, he's at least mentally unstable, which is not supremely the same as supremely evil.
Wait, so he wasn't the same in the original Fantastic Four?
I wouldn't say so.
Oh, gotcha.
I would say he's, like... You know, he's just kind of, like... He's boring. Like, so it is important, I guess. Maybe that's what they felt like they really had to make Mole Man more interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's pretty boring, just like kind of like, I kind of want to take over the world. I have this secret world of monsters on Monster Island. And I live underground.
Right underneath the Baxter building.
Yeah, in this one, he's right underneath the Baxter building.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in that world, they probably retconned it later on, but they like basically did a journey to the center of the Earth thing, whereas like the Earth is actually hollow.
So Mole Man's thing was like, so he was their teacher, the teacher of these kids at the military academy. Because they were recruited by the military, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a think tank.
Yes.
Not a military academy, because that would say that you're like training to become a soldier.
Gotcha.
But a think tank.
Yes. And so he was like, he was like, all right, guys, look, Reed had been there for like 5 years at this point, and so he was like, all right, you kids, look. You are here because you're smart, and being smart, you must provide some, production, some value. You know, you guys have not been doing your job. I would hate to have to send you back home, or something to that effect. Like,
yeah.
And
except for Johnny and Sue, your dad works here.
And then later he's like, "You are all my children." Okay, bro. Like, oh yeah. Also, like, let's just say, like, he is repugnant to look at.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you think you could call your children? No, I can't. No.
Yeah.
I wish he was drawn more appealingly disgusting. I don't know. He's like so unappealing that I like didn't want to read. I was like,
yeah.
And then they closed up. They gave him close-ups. Like, looking at him from far away is bad enough, but giving him a close-up, I can't.
Yeah, like even like under the
nose.
Yeah,
you just got to like look up his nose.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so Cody said, or one of you two, sorry, said that like the Mole Man is one of the first villains that shows up for them. And he went, oh, hey, that's like the Incredibles. And I was like, wait, the Incredibles have really similar powers to the Fantastic Four.
Yes,
and it's my first time realizing it.
Definitely. Very similar. I mean, of course, like the dynamics are different. You know, they are actually family instead of like, you know, family or family unit kind of. And then, like, I mean, I don't know if it really matters that the like the kids are, you know, or the powers are kind of like rotated, you know, like basically the dad is the super strong one and the mom is the stretchy one. And Dash, I guess Jack is the one that lights on fire. And
I think Dash is the only one that's like isn't exactly
the
same.
Probably, like, you know, I'm sure Marvel probably would have had a problem with that back then. Just, you know, like, this is obviously a Fantastic Four movie, and you need to shut this down.
Wait, so what about their kids, Valeria Valerie, sorry.
Yeah, Valerie and Franklin. Yeah, and I think, maybe Jack also kind of represents Franklin a little bit. Obviously, he's not in this comic because, you know, they are kids.
Yeah.
But, he has, like, basically, he is a mutant, although that has been retconned kind of recently, but I'm still going to call him a mutant. And he is like an Omega level mutant, which means he's the most powerful kind there is. And he can basically just change reality and make realities. That's right. He can change reality and make them.
Bro, that's like Omega.
Yeah,
like you're the Tesseractor.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, they might have even called him like a Gamma level mutant or something. Something like, you know, he is the most powerful out of every being.
So then my question, in Marvel Comics, is it similar, is the X gene passed down similar to how they said in the movies through the father?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think that they have said that in the comics, but I don't know if that's still true or not.
Gotcha. Because my question is like, they're not considered mutants, so how did they have a mutant child?
Well, yeah, that's because, like, I mean, assumably if it was following that rule, it would just mean that Reed Richards had a dormant mutant gene, you know, and then it got activated.
What if they all had dormant mutant X genes?
I'm sure that they probably tested for that. That's probably something, like, I mean, Reed, like, throughout the Silver Age, Reed, like, is consistently doing experiments trying to cure Ben.
That's true, yeah.
And, like, I mean, basically, yeah, that's, like, you know, it's almost a little bit more like Sunday strip style, where it's all, like, you know, Reed is all like, I have this test tube that, you know, I don't know how I did it, but I think that this will cure you, Ben. And then it, like, you know, basically, like, it gets, like, crushed or something. It's like, oh, there's no way I can do that again.
Oh, like he doesn't, like it's not like he breaks the bottle, but like, what do you mean get broken?
I mean the bottle, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the thing. Or like, you know, or for some reason Ben is like, I'm not taking that stinking thing, I'm mad at you, or something like that. Like, it's all like really dumb reasons that he ends up, yeah. And it's a reoccurring theme. But yeah. So
Gotcha.
Where were we with that? I
don't remember.
It's too easy to talk about like old Fantastic Four comics sometimes.
All I remember is that we got off on a tangent.
Franklin Richards and also The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is tangents upon tangents apparently, but basically, yeah, I would say that like with Jack and Incredibles' ability to like have like just lots of different powers, that would be most akin to Franklin Richards. I don't really even remember what Valerie's powers are. I feel like she does not get explored at all.
So who is Franklin? Who is Valerie?
Oh yeah, that's Reed and Sue's kids in the main Marvel universe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking that.
I
kind of got that from context. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's not the Incredibles kids' names.
Oh, wait, but isn't the Incredibles' daughter V?
Yeah.
Violet.
Yeah,
Violet. Okay.
Yeah. V, as in the character V from V for Vendetta. just guy.
See, that's why I was like, I thought you guys were remembering the names wrong, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. No.
Speaking of V's, Victor. I don't know if we really like explained Victor's role.
Oh yeah. No, we haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, Victor is like one of the super smart kids. And he's a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say he's at least standoffish, at most a jerk.
Gotcha. Okay.
So far. Yeah.
So yeah, technically our first introduction to him was more when he showed up in Reed's room and just like it was like, hey, you did this wrong.
Yeah.
And then Reed was like, "Whoa, bro, like, what? I didn't ask you." He's like, "Stop, go away. Yeah. That's my stuff."
In the scene before that, though, you know, the other kids, they were all like, "Oh, Victor said a word, you know, he's so quiet, you know." Like, basically, like, I feel like that's, like, actually a really, like, antiquated kind of, like, social thing that, like, you know, I don't feel like people are going to necessarily, like, make fun of somebody for being quiet, you know?
No, they would just ignore them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now, or in this book, it was, like, you know, like, basically feeling like he must not like anybody if he's so quiet, and I don't feel like that is a feeling that people get.
You know, I think that's how Peter Parker was portrayed when he went to college.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that is true.
Because that was why he was always getting in trouble with his classmates. Well, I guess maybe not always, but in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, when he first went to college, though, it was like kind of a mixture of stuff because, like, also it was one of the times where Aunt May, like, basically, like, went to the hospital, you know, and like could have died, and then so like, you know, basically Gwen Stacy before like they were together or whatever, or even knew each other, like she tried to like be nice to him, and he was all like, "Just get out of my way," or something like that, you know, just because he was like upset, but like it totally left a bad impression on everybody. So, yeah. Anyway, though, back to Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So after Victor, you know, made his changes that Reed didn't ask for, Reed walked up to him and it was like, "Okay, you were right, but still what you did, not cool." And then so then they were like, "All right, you help me." Victor was like, I got my own thing, like, "Oh no, I'll help you with that thing too." And then I guess he said okay to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love General Talbot and General Ross showed up in this book. I was like, "General Ross? All right."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I just kind of was, I didn't even pay attention. Like, I mean, I noticed it. I was like, okay, Hulk characters. They're from the Hulk.
Yeah. General Ross is the guy who chases the Hulk everywhere.
Yeah.
And turned himself into the Red Hulk. So.
I really like your reaction to that. Just like,
yeah, we should read a Red Hulk story, or a story with Thunderbolts. There we go.
Maybe we'll see. I don't know. But anyway, as far as the cameo, yeah, I didn't even like care. I was just like, those people, I guess.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah.
I was like, special guest star. I love crossovers.
But going back to Victor, though, I feel like, all of his scenes were like very like movie scenes to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like this, like, the Ultimate Universe was kind of like had the intent of being turned into movies, essentially. You know, but the scenes with him in it, I just like found his character almost unrealistic and unbelievable.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sure that will not help in Volume 2. Volume 2 goes into his backstory, and I was like, what?
Okay, good to know. Just like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not like my suspension of disbelief was broken, though, about him. It was just like, he just seemed like a character that was like...
cartoony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And like I said, I don't think Volume 2 is going to change that.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, basically, as they were developing this project, it was relayed to us that Victor makes changes without consulting Reed about it.
Yeah, I mean, technically he...
So we
go ahead, Joanna.
Find that out after the fact, though, right? Where, like, Reed's going through it, and he's like, he changed these numbers, but he didn't change the calculations to do with them, so obviously it wasn't going to work out. And he's like, I didn't do this, so it's obviously Victor's fault. Which,
there was a nod to that before the accident when he was like, he got like a message, and he was like, or I don't know, it was like some papers that were like, okay, here's some changes, and he was like, what? No, I didn't approve these. Like, no. But it wasn't like, oh, that's obviously what happened.
Yeah, I feel like, I'm not sure, and maybe you can shed some light on this since you read Volume 2, but I feel like what they were trying to set up, at least in my mind, was that like it was going to be basically he said situation where Reed's going to remember it one way, where it's all like, you wanted to change these things, and you changed them without me saying so. And then Victor's going to be all like, I wanted to change it so it would work, but you told me no.
I don't believe that's what happened.
Okay. I feel like that's...
I actually, he was more like, Reed, always thinking you're smarter than me, like, that kind of... It was more like that.
Okay, more cartoony then. More cartoony motivations.
Spite. It wasn't like an actual disconnect happening between them. It was done out of spite.
Yeah. Or well, I think it was definitely like, Victor was like, no, these numbers are right. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make those changes.
Right. Yeah. It's a mixture, or well, maybe then it wouldn't be spite, but it would be arrogance. That's the word. Yeah. Yeah. Arrogance and a little bit of spite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that personally I would have found it more interesting if it was like Reed has to eventually deal with the fact that it really was his fault, but instead apparently it's just like, no, it's Victor's fault. Yeah. It's definitely the villain's fault.
Talk about, was it Chuenta that said giving stuff on a platter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, boring. Make Reed deal with something.
Oh, technically, this is dealing with something, I guess. But like, not to get too much into Volume 2, but Volume 2, they do, tests on them. That's what Sue was heading up. She's apparently a biotechnologist. Or something to that effect. And so she was like, you're not going to figure it out. Like so he's trying to figure out how to save Ben or revert him. And she's like, look, I'm the biotechnist or whatever. Like, you're not going to figure this out. Okay, I am.
Oh, are you specialized in this stuff?
Yeah, that's yep. And she was like, so, Reed, this looks concerning, your scans here. And he was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, you have no organs. Oh. And she was like, you kind of have to have you'd kind of have to not have organs if we were going to be stretchy.
Right.
And so she was like, yeah, you haven't eaten in a while. I noticed that. No one else did, but I did.
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like,
wait, so is he only skin? He has skin. Skin is an organ.
He has a little pocket. I mean, yes, basically he's only skin. But like, there's a little pocket in him. I forgot what it does, but it's the one thing.
It carries around his solid food.
That sounds really useful. He has a little pocket. I forget what it does.
Whoa. Yes. Do you think you could turn inside out and still survive?
Huh. That probably, well, maybe not with the pocket. Like, he'd have to take the pocket out and then, like, somehow put it back in him.
What? Wait, what kind of pocket is this? I thought
it's inside him. Of like a kangaroo pouch.
Yeah,
no.
I imagined like it's like essentially his stomach. It's just that it's not a. Yeah.
It's his stomach, but it's inside him.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, basically it would be like the pocket would be like kind of hanging out. Like a little. It would become a little sack out of his mouth.
I guess.
But also he can stretch in any way that he wants to, so he could also... Can Reed shrink?
I mean, that's not stretching, though. That's the...
But...
He can flatten out, though.
Oh, right? Yeah, he can definitely flatten.
Yeah, remember the door?
In the the Fantastic
Yes,
Four
in the movie.
Yes, that's the only thing I know from that movie. And also, I think Sue has to get naked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
I'm so glad they didn't do that for this one. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, she.
Oh,
yeah.
but although you can see her muscular structure and her skeleton, I find that weird.
No, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was like weird and cool as compared to like, oh man, I have to take off all my clothes now.
I mean, yes, yeah, well, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's weird to look at.
Yeah, I guess that is one good thing about Sue, if not her character, is that like one, you know, like basically she has almost instant control of her abilities, where it took until like the late 70s for her character to be like useful to the team, basically.
Oh no, I'm not going there. No, never mind.
It's just like basically she was like always like the damsel in distress, or she was just like, you know, maybe sometimes she'd get to like sneak around places, but yeah. But then, like, you know, basically, I think it was John Byrne that came on and was all like,
Johnny boy.
Yeah, he basically was all like, yeah, she's like probably the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four. Let's like actually make it.
Yeah, I that's confusing to me. So like, how did they say what her power was? Like, you can bend the forces around you? Is that how he said it?
Oh, who? John
Mole
Byrne?
Man.
Oh, Mole Man.
Yeah.
He said you can bend the light.
Yeah.
Or something.
Gotcha. Which I'm like, she created a force field when the entire place, when Mole Man's place collapsed. I'm like, I don't see how that's a different power.
Yeah, I feel like, the force fields are a different power, not related to light. Yeah. And I think that every comic iteration just floats past that. It's like, we don't have to explain the force fields, do we? Her most powerful power? We don't have to explain that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminded me of both. It was Fantastic Four 2, where Reed was walking away, and then like she trapped her in a wall, an invisible wall, and like turned him around. And he's like, "We're not done talking."
Oh yeah.
And then she walks up to Victor, and she's like, "I can like put an invisible bubble in you and have it expand until you explode. So don't try me."
Yeah, that's something I think that John Byrne started. You know, the idea that you can put a bubble in somebody's brain, in their stomach, you know, wherever, and just like bigger. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah, she can also like, you know, put it around somebody's head so that they starve of oxygen.
Oh god. I did not know that part.
Yikes. That is kind of very helpful when you're trying to hurt something.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that I was going to kind of talk about, like, as far as, like, or whether we're going to read more, not on the show, but just personally, or whether we want to read more going forward, like, if this is a series that we really liked. And I'm kind of, like, I didn't really like this volume, but I feel like it's in the category of maybe it gets better, especially from what I've heard about it. Like, you know, because I've heard that, like, you know, sometimes they like travel to like alternate universes and stuff, and that's like how the Marvel Zombies story gets started. Is basically it starts in Ultimate Fantastic Four, and you know they just visit different places, and that's how like a lot of Marvel's Ultimate Universes even get established, is like, you know, just creating new ones for that story. You know, and so I'm kind of interested to see the multiverse, you know, essentially in this book. But at the same time, if the characters are, you know, the way they are here, it's like, for what purpose, you know?
Yeah. I think this is also, to me, what's more exciting than that, or I guess more interesting to me than that, is that apparently in this story, Reed goes evil. And so I'm like, ooh. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of knew that, like, a little bit, like, because that comes up in the 2018 Secret Wars. What year?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember what year it was. Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the original Secret Wars from 1980. It wasn't the Secret Wars 2 from 1980 something.
1982.
Maybe, I don't know. I see what you're doing. I'm not going to address it. Anyway, yeah, basically though, yeah, that is another reason, like, especially, like, you know, it seems so clear-cut that, like, Reed is a good guy, you know, and he's not going to waver from that, but apparently he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, I'm not interested in reading more of it because I don't find the group dynamic that interesting yet, and I don't feel like it'll get more interesting. But if Reed goes evil, then my whole problem with, like, Sue, like, just throwing herself at him, just, like, staring at him while he's doing calculations, and Johnny just being like, my sister likes you, wink.
Yeah.
Very subtly. Just, I would totally be interested to see them all feel betrayed by Reed.
Yeah. I will say that I feel like that has to happen. Like, I mean, I'm sure that it's, like, it's a building kind of thing, but it happens, like, pretty, like, multiple volumes later.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah.
But
I just want to see them betrayed.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, I mean, that's another thing that this, or not this story, but, like, the universe eventually sets up is the Council of Reeds. Basically, it's like, you know, all the alternate universe Reed Richards meet together to talk about, I don't know, smart people things, I guess. Like, I don't even know.
Now I'm a little upset at Flash. Yeah. They had the Council of Harrys. All the...
Oh, yeah. That was definitely... yeah, like, basically, as soon as that got invented, sci-fi franchises wanted to copy it, like, as a joke. Because they made the Council of Ricks and Rick and Morty. And, yeah.
That's why I was, like, less surprised when I heard the Council of Reeds. I'm like, oh, yeah, I think that's a thing.
Yeah.
Bunch of dorks standing around talking to each other about science.
Yeah. Basically, but yeah, and then I think where his character kind of ends up is basically being like, well, I'm the smartest human to ever exist, so yeah, I guess I'm supposed to kind of be like the leader of like all the humans.
Fantastic. Wait, Reed?
Yeah.
He's the smartest?
I guess so. I don't know. He wears this big dorky helmet too.
Okay.
I would accept it if he thought he was the smartest. He's like, well, obviously I'm the smartest, so.
Yeah, I mean,
but like,
I would not put it past Reed to think that. Like,
yeah,
that would not be too much of a leap for me to believe.
See, I guess the part I didn't like about it was the idea that it's true, that he's right.
Oh,
so if he's just like, I am the smartest, I'm like, yeah, you think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody, like, takes him down intellectually. Like, I mean, I think that the way that he ends up getting his, I don't know, his comeuppance, if you will, is through the Secret Wars story. So it's like...
Oh, yeah, it's your fault.
But I don't even remember, like, what happens to him in that, because I was so confused, honestly. Like, it is a good, well-written story from what I remember, like, you know, the main event, I guess you can say. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot going on, where it's just all like, yep, haven't read that story, I have no idea.
Gotcha.
I barely, like, you know, I got more familiar with them from, you know, the MCU movies, but that one, like, heavily featured the Black Order, too, which, and so, like, you know, and they didn't even get, like, a shining spot in the MCU movies, you know, they were, like, basically insta-killed.
Well, so the Black Order is the group that showed up in Infinity War, right?
Yeah. They were in Infinity War, and they were basically Thanos' like mini bosses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, basically they had a big presence in Secret Wars too, and I was like, I don't even know who these people are at all. It's like, I had no idea. I was like, just weird alien dudes that I just have never seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's another conversation for another day. But like, yeah, how hard it is to get into certain comic book events. Like, you know, it's like.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, back to Ultimate Fantastic Four. I definitely am not going to read more, but if I could will myself to, I might. maybe if there's like, you know, how for like anime and manga especially they do this, there's like the skippable chapters, like like a reading order that's.
Do you mean the filler?
Yeah. I mean, like, they make guides for, like, what you can skip.
I doubt Marvel did that.
Well, no, I know Marvel didn't do that officially. Gotcha. I mean, fans make them.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what can I skip so I can get to the Reed being evil part?
I just keep thinking about Ultimate Spider-Man, and I feel like a lot of those volumes are skippable. I'm just thinking about them in my head, and I'm like, that doesn't come up again. That doesn't come up again.
See, I liked like the Ultimate Spider-Man that we read in comparison to this.
Yes, I will agree with you there. Yeah. So for me, I think I was probably like the most let down. I mean, I wasn't like upset, but it definitely wasn't as thrilling as I was hoping it was. And it was...
Yeah, so you read Volume 2.
Yeah. So unthrilling that I had to read Volume 2.
That's how Marvel gets you.
Yeah.
This wasn't good enough. I'm going to buy more.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, I am thoroughly satisfied with the ending of Volume 2. I don't think I would be reading more. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm satisfied. I'm not buying anymore.
Yes.
I mean, that makes all their writing choices make sense, right?
You
don't
buy
want
2
a
volumes.
satisfied customer.
Yeah.
You buy 2 volumes and no more? Okay, we could just stop there then.
Yeah, the business model is specifically built on making fans angry so that they can complain on the internet.
Which is kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy that. My friend was like, do you want some comics? I didn't like them. And I was like, if there's something I can complain about, then yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Gosh, if you're gonna make me rethink this show. Are we just spewing negativity into the airwaves?
Oh, hey, that would only be if we didn't like any comics.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, we're making these choices based on something we think we might like or we do like. I mean, it doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm just here to complain.
Like children, we go in with good intentions and come out the other side jaded.
Not with superpowers.
Or, man, the Ultimate Universe isn't all good.
Wow. We never said that.
I've been complaining about Sue a bunch, and I don't understand why she irks me so much.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like like, she gets a lot of attention, especially towards the end of the volume. Like, I mean, you know, Mole Man, the way that he gives her attention, but more than that, you know, it's like, it seems like they want to, like, tell her story, because it's like, they didn't want to tell Johnny's story at all, you know, like he gets like some scenes, but it's like, who is he really? No idea. But Sue gets a little bit, like, but her scenes still aren't telling of who she is, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably the most frustrating thing about this, or well, not the most frustrating thing about this book, but the most frustrating thing related to her character. and what we want to see from it, I guess.
The fact that she is not developed.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not like it's like they tried to develop her, but very, very poorly. You know, because like if we compare Johnny, you know, it's like they just didn't see it like time to develop Johnny in this book. You know,
you go.
I just feel like, you know, basically they were like, okay, we'll give him some scenes like being on fire, but you know, who is he? We don't know.
We don't care.
Yeah, we don't care yet. At least we'll do that later. But it felt like they wanted to do that with Sue.
I don't think they wanted to do that with Sue. Honestly, like I think that they didn't spend time with her at all. Like it was just there because, like, oh yeah, she's like the hot one, so I guess like we'll make the ugly guy like her.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's like, ugh. But
I mean, Namor.
Gosh. Sorry, that just distracted me because I'm pretty sure in the Ultimate Universe, Namor, like, floods Manhattan. And I'm just like, yeah, no. Not in this book.
So I'll explain. Like, Namor had a thing for Sue in, like, the main comics, right?
Yeah, in the main comics. They almost get married. It's fine.
Who is Namor?
He is Marvel Aquaman.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, you've mentioned him before that. Because I was like, that's Aquaman. But why is his name not Aquaman?
Yeah.
Yep.
He wears a Speedo all the time.
Yeah. Does he still have wings on his feet?
Yeah, that's his mutant ability. He's half mutant, half Atlantean.
How that is an ability?
Well, no, that's how he flies. He uses those tiny wings to fly in the air.
See, I was gonna make like a whole thing about, oh, well, obviously they should, if they have the Aquaman character, they should obviously try to like not pair them up necessarily, but like, oh, obviously they'll have a crush on a character who is like fire based. But then I was like, there's only Johnny like in this one specifically. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's what you get when you only have like one girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, actually, pairing up Namor and Johnny is genius.
I mean, I was gonna go with more like, you know, not opposites attract, similarities do. So like Reed and Namor. Yeah. Reed's like water, remember?
I would see a comic where Namor has like unrequited attraction. Instead of Sue. That just sounds so boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm. So this is something that I noticed at reading the book. There's the new Fantastic Four movie, 2015 Fantastic Four movie, took some elements of this comic and used it in their movie. And so before I go delve too deep in that, I want to also point out that just like Amazing Spider-Man, like this is the second like comic book that had a reboot movie based on it, where the reboot failed. Like Amazing Spider-Man, people did not like that franchise.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, they did not like that franchise, and it was all based on the Ultimate Comics.
Yeah, and specifically, you mean Fan Four Stick?
Yes, the Fan Four Stick. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
See, I wish Jake was here, because all I can think about is like him saying like, okay, Talon, please tell me you did not like the Fantastic Four movie. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, that's probably what he'd say. Yeah, that's a very good...
I was going to say, have any of the Fantastic Four movies ever been successful?
And then this is where me and Jake would get into an argument, because I like the 2004 and 2007 Fantastic Four.
But were they successful?
Oh, well, I mean, there was a sequel to that one. So, at least somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat successful.
Yes.
I definitely was like I remember I was 6. I was in 1st grade. My dad took me to see the first Fantastic Four movie. And I wrote about it in my 1st grade journal. Nice. And yeah, that was very exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got some fond memories of that one, but also yeah, probably like not good.
I know. I watched Fantastic Four again. That, like,
yeah, I mean, I know you would. I know you would.
My fond memories of the movie was listening to the commentaries. Like, I really enjoyed listening to them.
Okay, wait. So what did they actually take from the comic for the 2015 one?
Yeah. Okay. So the scene in the garage with Ben and Reed, that was the 2015 movie. Took that, and the science fair, they took that. But in the movie, the science fair, like the experiment exploded, or at least shattered. Like, I'm pretty sure it exploded. Like, maybe not a big explosion.
Unsuccessful?
But, yeah, unsuccessful.
So it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas this one was like, oh no, it did work.
Yeah. So he had to struggle a little bit more to basically.
Well, and actually, I think the story was that the experiment, I believe, was successful, just that it looked like it failed.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So much
they
like,
always do that. That's such a movie thing.
Yeah. So much like in this comic, you know, he tested it on some toys, and they ended up in the military like base or wherever.
Right. Yeah. The other side of the end zone or whatever, because they also had like a window. So actually, it wasn't. Well, yes, it kind of was in the military base. I assume that it's like just like cloudy. You know, it's just like floating through. Like it has like some sort of whatever wind current, you know? And so it's like really it was, the toys were still there, you know, they were just there, like in that location in the negative zone, and then like eventually they made their way to the window, which seems so ridiculous. Like, that's a long way for it to travel in a big wide world. Man, just finding plot holes when you really dig deeper into stuff.
And I'm unsure as to whether or not he thought he was building a time machine instead of a teleportation device. I can't remember if that's correct.
I feel like that's true, maybe.
Yeah, like at least in the movie. Like I think what he thought he was making was a time machine. I'm not sure. And then they also took with some liberty. They took some liberties, but that scene with where they're all at the experiment, you know, they were teleported to another planet in that movie, which don't even start it on. But instead of like just being sent to the end zone, So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
And then it was Victor that was gone. Like they found everybody, but Victor was the one who disappeared. And so he came back at least a year later or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got a year time jump. Interesting. Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Maybe someday I'll watch that movie, but not soon. Not soon. We'll see. What was it?
Sounds like kind of a worse spin on some of the scenes from the book. Like, I kind of like the fact that, like, the whole thing you're saying about them going to another planet, it's just such a jump in logic as compared to what they've laid out here in the book, which I kind of like the idea that they went through the end zone, and, you know, of course they end up somewhere else in our dimension or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they don't understand what happened. They didn't see anything, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that reminds me, did, in the second volume, since you read that, did they end up traveling through the end zone? No, not yet. Okay. No. I just wonder how that's going to be handled later on, because I remember, like...
They did talk about the end zone.
Well, yeah, I mean, I assumed. It seems to be, like, a pretty important piece of the story. But, I just, in the original Fantastic Four comics, when they finally do travel through it. I remember, like, I think Johnny has to like go through the negative zone, and like he is like messed up by it. You know, like it is like horrifying to travel through. like it was like a pretty cool, like, for like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby written. You know, normally it's just all like kind of normal superhero fare stuff, but he was just like very like troubled by what he saw in the negative zone, like the existential horror of it. It was just
awesome.
No, they explained the end zone, if I remember correctly, as just kind of like a place where all possibilities of something exist. So like they define it as like phases. So they use the apple as a analogy. You know, there's a universe where this apple was rotten. There's a universe where this apple was eaten or something like that, you know. And they all existed in this one place. But I can't remember like much more about that, but like it's something about going through it, you might come out as one of those versions. You might come out the other side as one of those versions, is what somewhat that I remember.
But then that wouldn't be you coming out.
That'd
be that version coming out, and so you'd be stuck.
I mean, I mean,
that's like okay. Actually, I won't spoil the twist in that movie, but it made me think of a movie that.
I mean, that would be if they actually acknowledged that kind of idea in the comic, I'd love that.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, that's like, you know, because I mean that's a common like, it's a version of a philosophical question where it's like basically if you have a teleporter, you know, but like really
Star Trek.
Oh yeah, that's probably it. Yeah. Where like, you know,
it's like, oh, it's philosophy. No, it's Star Trek.
Well, sure. I mean, it's just an updated version of like the ship of Theseus or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
But basically, if your atoms get destroyed, but it makes a copy of you, and then new atoms get obviously atoms don't get constructed, but get taken from elsewhere, and then construct a new version of you. Is it really you?
Gotcha.
You know.
I have a simple answer, of course.
Of course it is.
That's pretty much how I deal with those kind of questions. I want to sleep at night, so yes, I'm fine with this.
Yeah, because there's lots of different directions to take that question, but basically, but yeah, the problem with that though is that, like, you know, I feel like, you know, it's not just that you're the same or different atoms, you know, it's like that's a completely different life trajectory, you know?
Expand.
Like, you know, okay, so like if I assume that that's like kind of the way that they talk about getting powers too, is that they traveled through the end zone and basically now they are a version of themselves who had those powers. Or at least got those powers? I don't know how that works, but
yeah, so,
you know, but like, so if they are like basically if it's what Shawenta was saying, which I realize that they're not necessarily accepting in the comic, then they would be from a completely different universe, you know?
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, I mean, and about coming out on the other side, maybe as one of those different. I don't know I don't remember that necessarily as if that's for certain what they said. So I could possibly be wrong about that, but definitely they were talking about like different possibilities of what this thing could be.
Yeah. Okay. Because yeah, I'm sure that that's probably how they end up traveling from like universe to universe and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too big of a tangent. I'm not gonna go on it. I have too much I'd want to like start exploring with that. But so Talon, you were saying like you wanted to say a lot about the art.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did. You totally did.
Huh? Okay, but I don't remember that. But I guess I'll go with that. So I will say like I think this art is very like, especially the covers. The covers is what I was paying attention to the most. And it was very reminiscent to me of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's just something about this art. I just like it less. Like, I like Amazing Spider-Man's art.
Some of the anatomy on some of those covers was not good.
When Sue's cover was like, and she was like smiling sort of, like, I was like, whoa, that threw me off.
Like, her facial anatomy was so bad. I was like, what is going on?
And she wasn't even in that issue.
Gosh.
And then when they tried to put it for the last issue, when they put all of them together, I was like, that's bad. That looks so bad.
Trying to find. Okay, there's the one that you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The only one that I liked, I think, was issue number 2. And that's like a big departure from the other ones.
I felt like that was like a variant cover that they decided to put like as the main cover or something. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it is a big departure.
Yeah.
I was okay with the Things cover, I guess. Like, his is alright. Although he does have a really big toe that's like kind of just like folded, like it looks.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll amend my last statement. I like Johnny's cover, number 3. And I just like Sue's eyes for issue number 1. Like, just, they're very blue.
They're very blue.
They're very blue, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I just don't... Oh, go ahead, Shawanta.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, so one thing about the first cover is Reed's face does not look like Reed's face. That's not him at all. That's some other guy.
Wait, so... Wait.
Like, you see it, right? Like, second of all, why is, like, I'm not saying that, like, comic book covers have to have, like, a scene or, like, you know, even, like, situations that are reminiscent to what actually happens in the comic book. But these characters don't even have their powers in the first issue.
True, yeah.
Are you talking about issue 2 with Reed?
No. I'm talking about issue 1, but actually also issue 2 is kind of also a problem.
He has such anime eyes in that one.
Yes, he does.
See, man.
Sometimes. I just realized he didn't have the gray hair. The iconic gray...
Well, that's because he's 21 years old.
Hey, man. You get powers, and then you all of a sudden get gray hair? Like, come on. That's iconic.
No, that's
what happened in the Fantastic Four movie.
I know that's what happened in the Fantastic Four movie, but that's not what happened in the comics. In the comics, he's just an old guy. He, like, served in World War I or something.
Wow. Does that make... So, I really hope that Sue was an old woman.
No.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. We don't let old women into anything.
Yeah. Okay. She was not a teenager. She was.
Anyway, so like I'm thinking 26 is still too young.
Yeah, she's probably about that old.
and wait. Okay, before we like jump to conclusions, did they throw in romantic like?
Oh
yeah, no, they were like basically engaged in the first issue.
Oh darn it!
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, benefit of the doubt, you know, they were just partners, like nothing more.
No, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if he served in World War I, then when that's set in, I mean, that was more normal.
Yeah, it was like 1961. Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's just a really stressed young dude who served in World War I or something.
Yeah, he must have been really old, wasn't he? Maybe I'm
Jesus. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he would have been like
World
50.
War II, right?
He would have been at least 50.
Yeah.
Or what? Wait, no, 40.
If he served in World War One, he had to at least be like 18
right.
for World War One.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And then add on all the years to get to the 60s.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah, actually, okay, yeah, he'd be like 60, basically.
He'd be like 65,
Yeah.
Retirement age.
Okay, never
Oh
mind.
my gosh, I'm sorry, I was thinking of World War II, and I was like, he's not that old.
Yeah.
Okay. World War One, gotcha.
Yeah, it must have been World War
It's a little
II.
too much.
Yeah. I was like trying to do the math in my head too. I was like, wait.
Maybe it was World War II.
Yeah. Gosh.
Okay, but the art for... Aside from the covers, because some of those covers were just so weird, like, the art seemed really off, and the characters didn't look like themselves, like you guys were saying. But the art in the actual book, sometimes I liked it, and like I was like, oh, these are kind of weird expressions, but they're kind of unique and interesting. The characters are expressing themselves in ways that don't feel super stereotypical, generic. But then sometimes the art was just, the eyes would get like really sparkly, like Johnny's eyes. I think when he's like at the hospital or something, there's just like huge white dots of sparkle in them, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this superhero.
Yeah, I did not notice that.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that, like, I think the interior art is very good to me.
Really, I liked Ultimate Spider-Man's interior art more. I felt like that was more traditional, modern superhero comics. This
Gotcha.
one has a little bit more bubbled effect, and this is like, while I will stick with my, basically I assumed that the cover art of Ultimate Spider-Man was going to be the same as the interior art.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little bit more of what I expected. Even still, like if it wasn't going to be that bad, this is more of what I expected, whereas like just that general bubbled kind of look. I mean, this isn't a big like panel, but like Victor's face, it's just like, it's not as flat, which I mean, obviously you don't want flatness generally, but it's like, it just seems a little artificial to me.
Gotcha.
I guess.
I didn't like how Sue was drawn. I feel like they probably were trying to make her pretty too much of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So she ended up looking really weird, stylized.
I mean, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's not as much of a problem if I think about them as being 21, but like Johnny is not 21, right? He's supposed to be teenager. Or just slightly
He's gotta
above.
be younger than Sue. At
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, he looks as old as Sue. Like I'm not tracking with you.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, actually, I forgot about this part. I love when Reed first gets his powers, and they just like shoot at him. They're like, he must be some sort of alien monster.
I was like, that's General Ross right there. Like that's obviously him.
Yeah, it really is him, his character. But yeah, it's just like totally uncontrollable.
Bro.
And he just looks so sad. Like he looks like in trouble sad, He's like, I have done something wrong.
I mean, he was like, help. And
Yeah.
then Ross was like, fire. Also too, so like when the Thing gets his powers, he gets like run over. I mean, but like it crashes into him. And like nothing comes of what happened to the guy driving. Like, we don't delve into, okay, did he save him? Like, what happened? It's like, oh no, we found him in New Mexico and we're taking him back.
Yeah, that was, I agree with that part where it's like, yeah, just like, what happened?
I see the eyes now. I see what's up.
Yeah, those are weird eyes. I don't even... Yeah. Johnny's eyes. Gosh.
Ooh, well, that was messed up right there.
Yeah, so I just kept noticing little things like that. Man, his eyes are not great in a lot of panels.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was good, I found it kind of fun. It was an interesting style to me. I haven't read a lot of stuff from, like, American comics, so, like, this style seemed new to me.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I will say, like, I have a bit, I don't know if necessarily you could call it an agenda, but, like, to me, I think you had this art back in, like, 2004, 2007.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
I just feel like there's no excuse to have worse art today.
Well, but we've talked about this.
The whole thing, again, is what you're categorizing as worse.
Yeah, it's
right?
So it's
Gotcha.
Subjective.
That is true.
They are not purposely putting down.
Are they
I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
bad
are they putting
art.
in less effort? Are they
maybe?
Like,
I don't
not...
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But see, that's the thing, you don't know, but then you claim the whole thing.
I know.
How dare they do this? It's like,
Yes.
Can you prove it? It's like, well, I think, therefore.
I am. Right. Yep.
No, you are not. See, you need to try making
We've
some
established that is how you are.
Hey, no, see, I will give some leeway to, like, people who are new in the industry, like new artists. I will say, okay, it's okay.
I'm sure they're thanking you.
But, like, established artists who have been doing this for a while, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse for not doing the same style. Man, I
Yes,
think that's
yes,
For this
yes, that's
specific
exactly
style.
it.
actually. I think I just cracked the code. I just figured it out.
Yes.
That was a big problem for a lot of superhero comics back in the day, was that they had a house style. There's the DC house style and the Marvel house style. And basically the Marvel house style was Jack Kirby. Mm-hmm. People made money for learning how to draw like Jack Kirby. Mm-hmm. But they were completely creatively stunted.
That's how Disney is right now.
Yeah.
That just reminded me of what's his name? Spawn dude.
Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane. That's exactly what he got into trouble with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. At that point, Jack Kirby was no longer the popular. Like, I mean, he was still popular, but his style was no longer the house style. But yeah, Todd McFarlane definitely was all like, I don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna do what I want to draw.
Yeah.
Kids like chains.
Oh wait. Should it really be called? I was thinking spaghetti webbing, but like I guess it does look more like spaghetti rather than chains.
Yeah, no, I was more thinking of Spawn, where he has lots of chains and that.
He didn't make Ghost Rider, did he?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ghost Rider was actually created in the 70s, but only gained popularity in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Gotcha.
But yeah, anyway.
Yes, so we've cracked the code.
Yes.
Make art just like this, and I'll be good.
No. That you were conditioned by two major companies that had house styles.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I will accept that.
You've been propagandized.
Yeah, I will accept that.
That makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, we'll have to update Jake on this new finding. Even it's like it all makes sense now.
Yes.
There's a reason.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some other other areas in my tastes that would also apply.
So it
not just art.
It could expand to movies too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is also art. I'll just go on the record, but
yeah, I was thinking more music, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Also.
Anyway.
Less about about Talon's psychology of art. Yeah, I just really liked that scene with the tentacles, the reed tentacles. And even the beginning of that scene before that, where he's just like, basically looks dead, you know? He's just like, his eyes are just like open, and then he's like stretched out. That's also a good scene.
I will say this, whoever's doing the art, well, we know, sorry, Adam Kubert?
Yeah.
He does really good room layouts. Like, setting the scene with establishing shots, like those big cafeteria like shots, those are really well done, and I mean they're not too boring to me, and I think the colors are also really good. Like the scene where Reed is talking to his parents, or talking to his mother specifically over the phone, like, did Dad get the motorcycle? Like the colors there are really interesting and like eye-catching and pretty. But, you know, the scene is still impactful and I'm still paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, I guess we didn't completely give credit where it was due, perhaps. So Adam Kubert did pencils, Danny Mickey did inks, and then Dave Stewart was on colors. So yeah. A wide variety, and I guess I usually say all of those names, but I got distracted early on in the show, so I just didn't say it. But yeah, so credit where it's due. Yeah, but I think that's all the time that we have for our show, actually.
Wow, wow. Okay. Yeah. No, that is. Yep, here we are.
So yeah. Until next time, this has been the Comic Panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
And I'm Shawenta.
And thanks for listening. We will be back here on Monday at 5 o'clock, KSUA 91.5 FM. Until then, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. You can catch us Mondays, 5 to 7 p.m. on KSUA 91.5 FM, the People's Radio. You can follow us on Instagram at _comic_panel, like our Facebook page at It's Comic Time. You can also listen to us in podcast form on Apple Music, Spotify, and Podbean at the Comic Panel Podcast. Have a great rest of your day.